Hello, everybody. We're trying out a different kind of live today. We're going live via YouTube this time instead of StreamYard. But I thought I'd just go live here a little bit and show you a little bit about what I got going on over here on the old 58. You can see I got the safety glasses on. I've been cutting and grinding and doing a little bit of that stuff. So let's dive right on in. Hey, up. What's going on, man? Good to see you, brother. Two stall garage. What's going on, man? Let's see. Can you everybody hear me pretty good? This is first time me using this. Caught you on your lunch break. Did I unfinished? This is my lunch right here. Cool. Thanks, Two Stall. I wasn't sure about this. This is actually my first time ever trying the YouTube version of the live. So I figured, what better way to learn this stuff than to just dive right in and give it a go. Mater's Workshop. What's going on, man? Good to see you. How'd them Ford parts come out for you? We was talking about in that one live. Hope you was able to score some good stuff. Bacon and eggs. I'm not sure how to highlight these ones on here. It's a little different than StreamYard, but I'm paying attention. Anyway, without further ado, what the heck are we doing here? Get my mic stand set up there. Can you still hear me all right? You can see I took the whole front end apart on this 58. Because we're getting ready to go to the local junkyard and find some more goodies for this. What I got to do now, though, is I got to grind all these rivets out that holds the shock tower. Well, it's not really a shock tower. It's more of a spring plate in it. But I've done a whole bunch of measurements and everything. And I'm thinking what I can get done here. Let's see if I move that camera a little bit. There we go. I took all the A-arms and everything out, got all the front suspension completely out of it. And I got a 40, it's either a 48, 49, or a 50 Ford F1 sitting out at our local Classic Junkyard. And I measured the front end on that, the straight axle on it, and it's perfect for these frame rails. Also, from backing plate to backing plate on the front end, it's the exact same width as this old Ford here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up there, I'm going to cut the front end out of that old Ford pickup. I'm going to stick it in here. I'll solid mount it here because it's a rear steer. On a rear steer straight axle, you always go solid on the, wait, I'm backwards. Nothing like doing this stuff live. Anyway, I'll mount that front end up in there, and I'm going to set the car. She'll be about 3-4 inches higher in the front than she will be in the back. Going for that street freak gasser look. Let's see, now I get caught back up here on the chat here. Hey, LP Lars, Mr. Lars, what's going on, brother? And Landing Custom Classics. He's always around here somewhere. We just went over to his place and was looking around some more goodies that I can throw in here to get her up and ready. Some of the things that I got from Steven when he was here. I'm making a whole bunch of room. That's why I took all of that stuff out of there. You see, I got the passenger side already done. I'm just working on getting this spring pocket here out. That'll open it completely up so I can get that big old dog in there, along with, and it's the reason I got that other 460 at the junkyard. It's got the bell housing and everything that I need, and the spacer plates for rock crusher 4-speed. And that is what I'm doing here. I'm opening up as much room as possible to get all of that stuff in there without really diving in hardcore on moving the body around, cutting things up. So I think that'll give me enough room there. But that's where we're at. Like I said, a little impromptu live during the week. Nathan's Mopar Garage. Good to see you, man. Gassers are fun. That is so true. And to be quite honest, me and my dad have talked about doing a gasser. I guess you'd call him a street freak, because this thing is going to be completely street legal. And thanks to Shane Polito, Slant 6 Daily, he's got me pointed in a good direction for a cam for this thing that'll actually make it drivable. It won't have all the all-out horsepower ratings that that you can get out of a tunnel ram, but it still will be easy to drive around. I don't want to have to hit $4,000 just to get this thing to move, if you know what I mean. I want to be able to putt around town in a cruise and still have some fun. Which is a big reason I wanted to go manual with it, because then I don't have to worry about torque converter stalls, and getting all of that to match up. That can be a real nightmare. But with a manual transmission, well, the stall's in your left leg. So you got total control of where that engine's at and what you're going to leave at and all of that stuff. So with a manual, you can get away with a lot more stuff. Got to run. Just tuned in on all notifications. Have a good one, guys. Great to see you, Two Stall. Have a good one out there. And we got the one-eyed cat in the house. What's going on, Dawn? So I guess I'll just let you guys just watch me work here, I guess. Here in about another hour, we're going to take off and go to the junkyard so I can dig that old front end out of the way. Oh, and the reason I wanted that F1 front end, I've got some F3s and F4s sitting out in the back pasture, but the spindles are different. If you use an F1, you can, Speedway sells a kit, a mounting kit, but it uses GM standard regular GM calipers that are easy to get at any O'Reilly's or AutoZone. And it uses 1980, 81, 82 Dodge Aspen rotors and standard bearings and everything. It makes all the parts easily accessible and easily replaced if anything goes wrong. I've checked in like Willwood disc brake conversions and all that stuff. What scares me about those kits is they're specific to those kits. So I don't want to be stuck buying Willwood rotors, and you get what I mean. If something goes bad or something it wears out, I want to be able to change it that quick at any local auto parts store. One-eyed cat, I was just heading out to work on the Valiant, huh? Oh, sweet. Working on the old 5-barrel. Stock parts are much better. Amen to that. I learned my lesson when I was, I was about a junior, senior in high school. I bought my dad's 1972 Triumph Bonneville. I loved that bike. I rode it all over the place. I broke one throttle cable, and it put me out of the whole season. So I lost a whole year's of riding because I was riding a bike that nobody sold parts for back then. That taught me real quick that when you're building these old hot rods, try to stick to parts that you can get anywhere. or it'll shut your whole season down. It's getting closer. Days are counting by down. Oh, Lord, they are. I don't think this, well, not only do I don't think, I know this car ain't going to make it to the No Name Nationals this year. My cam that I got ordered for this, it's not going to be here until October 15th, and that's after the No Name Nationals is already run. So I'm probably going to be a spectator again this year. Which is all right. Any of you guys out there that can't get your car there to the No Name Nationals this year in Sykeston, Missouri, I still highly recommend you coming as a spectator. You'll have the time of your life, and it's worth every penny of the trip. And the spectator seats, you know, they are a little cheaper, so you can save a little money there. But the camaraderie, the friendships you'll gain there, oh, it's like nothing else. Kim fixes things. How in the heck are you? Good to see you. I'm really digging what you're doing with Buff over there. Hope you can get that old Studebaker going. We spectated last year. I want a time slip. Me too. If nothing else, the burnout competition. Tell you the truth, that's what I'm really shooting for. I wanna go have some good old fun in the burnout competition. Racing, yeah, I'll run it down there a couple of times as long as Deke holds one eye while he's looking it over. But the burnout competition is actually what I'm really shooting for. Well, let's dive in here and see what else I can get going here. Wendy says hello and see you later. She's headed to work. Good to see you, Wendy. Oh, to get those springs out of there, uh, we've done a lot of stuff, building cars and stuff like that. But boy, I got to tell you, playing with the springs is about the only part of the car that really scares me. Uh, Whenever you're working around springs, make sure you pay attention to everything. That thing is a loaded gun waiting to go off. You cut it loose under load, yeah, bad things happen. Springs fly around the shop, parts go flying. Be real careful when you're doing that. I had video set up for it, but yeah, the dang camera overheated, I think, and I lost all that footage. But I don't know. Let's see what else we can get done here. I'll move this back so I ain't getting caught in it. That's an old 3-speed shifter I found out at the junkyard. I figured I could use it for something. Okay, slide this big old 460 on backwards. All right, that cleans it up a little bit. My hard stone grinder, and it's about done. It's about time for another one. One of the handiest tools you can ever have right here, port power. You doing this kind of work, sometimes you need a little strong hand, especially that little guy right there. You can push a lot of stuff out. Porter power, man, they got 1,000 uses. I had to use that on that side lower control arm. The bushing pin on the front here was totally froze in. So I had to stuff that down in it, push it down out of the way, and Porter power it out, get it to pop out of that bushing. And a lot of people talk bad about the Bauer brand stuff. You know, I've had this sucker here for, well, this came out when they first were introduced, so 3 years now, and it still goes strong. It doesn't have the torque of like a snap-on or anything, but heck, I get good use out of it. And a big wrench. 1.5 inches on those. That's all my heavy equipment servicing tools. I had to get these for, working on big stuff, tractors and what got you. Quite a fun time live, huh? Watch me put away my tools. Shock grommet. I'm always keep the springs though. I can find uses for them anywhere. And I was kind of kicking around the idea, loosely, maybe trying a radius arm coil spring, but I think it just complicates things too much. By that, what I'm meaning is still using the coils up in there, mount that straight axle on here, and then run a couple of hairpin radius arms. Like you see on a Ford twin I-beam setup, they use them a lot on there. Running that back over here. But to do that, I'd have to weld another piece onto that side to hang down to the same plane as the front end and to run a panner bar across to keep the front end from walking side to side. And I think I just gaudy it up a little, and it's better to just go leaf spring up front. But these will live on somewhere else. Maybe later on I'll 4-link the rear and I'll use these in the rear. I don't throw away anything. There's that bushing, I don't know what you call it, bolt, whatever. That sucker was rusted in there good. Finally, I ended up having to cut it. It just was too far gone. Get my roller seat out of the way. There, that's cleaned up a little bit. And you can see on there on those control arm setup, spindles, everything, I left them all as much intact as possible. And then I wrote on them what they go to, because This front end was actually really tight. So any of those parts I can reuse on the 58 Fairlane that I'm going to be building after this one's done. And some of those, yeah, 58 Ford, those control arms, they don't make a whole lot of them anymore. Let's see, who else we got in here? I'll get caught back up on the. Let's see where we at. Thanks. The Studebaker is more of a long-term restoration. Oh, you're going to go restoration on it? Cool. We will be painting this winter on. Oh, you're going to paint it in the winter? Slow and steady. That's what wins the race every time. I'll be watching, Kim. She's waving, huh? I know I'm probably late to Miss Wendy, but there you go, Wendy. That shifter removal could have burned down the junkyard. Holy cow, he's not a kidding either. Old Walt gave me a zip disk, battery operated zip disk to get that shifter out of 62, I think it was 62 or 63, little Ford Galaxy. Or no, it was a Fairlane. It was a little 62 Fairlane. And the car's way back in the back of the junkyard. There's weeds everywhere. I had to get in there and cut it. And I found a couple of old floor mats and I stuffed them in and around to block the sparks. Because that old interior, that old carpet and everything, one little spark and yet she'll light. So it was pretty interesting trying to get that out of there without lighting the whole junkyard on fire. And boy, I don't want to do that because he's still got a lot of good stuff out there. It looked like they put that, it was a 3 on the tree car, and then they moved the shifter down to the floor. And it looked like they used a can opener and a hammer and chisel to do it with. It was all, they destroyed the car putting that floor shifter in there. But it gives me the 2 rods that I need for my other shifter for that rock crusher top loader. And I don't know, what do you guys think about a twin stick? I've been rolling that around in my head too, using that shifter for reverse, and then I'll use my other shifter. It's already locked out for a 3-speed right now. This one here I got. This shifter, by the way, my dad bought this just before he went to Vietnam. I've had it ever since. He's got it locked out right now because it was in a 3-speed. I don't know if you can see it, but on these, it's that plate right there. You pop that plate out and it activates this arm, which is reverse. I was thinking about leaving it locked out and just using first, second, third, and fourth, these shorter ones, and then running my reverse off of the other lever. So you put this in neutral and then you pull the other one and you can back up. Kind of thinking about that, make it a little more unusual, and it shortens up the throw on these. That's actually what I'm looking for. Is it keeps, it's hard to do this with one hand without a lockdown, but it keeps neutral that big. That's all the farther this thing moves for neutral. This is called it's a Mr. Gasket knockoff of the Hurst Mystery Shifter is what this is. It goes, after you load it like that for first gear, you just pull her straight back, and then you, for second, speed shift second. And then when you want to speed shift third, you just push it forward, and it automatically goes into third. So it's almost just boom, 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 boom. No H, not, well, it does an H pattern, but it's so minute and it's so heavily spring loaded that it just boom, right into third, bang fourth. Very interesting. That's why they call them a mystery shifter, because it was a mystery how they shifted, because it looks like you're just going back and forth. Anyway, I'm babbling. But if you pull that lockout plate on it, that neutral will have a little bit more throw. And sometimes that gets a little confusing when you're preloading it for first. When I can, depends on what gets done, but I might just tow the Valiant and the rest to the pits. Sweet. Travis's Mopar. What's going on, Travis? I just seen your video come up on wiring. I'll watch it later. Tim 72 Demon. What's going on, man? It's kind of strange. I can't really. This is, like I said, this is the first time I'm doing this live from YouTube. So yeah, it's a little different. The chat is much more responsive, though, if any of you are wondering. But the drawback of doing this on YouTube side, I can't invite any of you guys in. On the YouTube side, it's you and you only. But I don't use any of my hours doing it this way. So let's light this sucker up and go to cutting that off of there. I know I'm wasting time. Those nasty filters. Actually, what I normally smoke is drum tobacco, and I hand roll them or smoke pipe. But after seeing the kind of hayman that Uncle Tony goes through trying to roll a cigarette every time, yeah, I do the factory ones. And when I'm driving and stuff like that, it's just too hard to roll them. So, but I still jerk the filters out of them. Whoosh. Auto Salvage Outlaws, what's going on, brother? Can't stay long driving, huh? No problem. Like I said, this is just kind of an experimental live. I'm just testing out the YouTube thing. You'd think I would have done it a long time ago, but I'm kind of slow. Well, I think I'll glove up and go to Brandon. All right, where's my gloves? Get the zipper disc. Normally, this is when I got the camera all set up and ready, but yeah. That's about all I'm going to get out of that stone. Bye. Pretty sure that was my last one. Lit my pants on fire there a little bit. That's all right. I'm always lighting myself on fire somewhere. Usually I got my welding apron on. The secret to those grinders, and especially a cutoff wheel, is try to keep the spark coming to you. As long as the sparks are coming to you, if it binds or catches or anything, it tries to pull the grinder away from you. If you got the sparks going away from you, if it binds, that son of a gun comes back at you. Hey, James Gipe. James Gipe. What's going on, man? Good to see you. I don't know if you could see it there when I was using the cutoff wheel, the spinning wheel of death. Actually, it's very, very rare that I do have one of them explode on me. The trick to those, don't force them. Just let the machine do the work. As soon as you muscle up, and when I'm using them, I'm usually using it with a very light hand. I'm not white knuckle gripping it. I see a lot of people get scared of it because all the stuff that they see on the YouTube. Once you get scared of something, you grab a hold of it and you muscle up. And as soon as you do that, that sucker will come apart and hurt you. And stay square to your cut. Amen right there. And before you make your cut, you run it over a couple of times and you get a groove going. And just slow work it and let the weight of the machine do the work. And you'll very rarely blow a disc up. And as soon as you go a little bit sideways, yep, she comes apart on you. So get the feel of your tool, and you'll, for one, you'll save a lot of money on discs. But number two, and the big one, you'll stay safe on it. That's one of the big reasons I don't like the battery operated ones, because the weight of the battery is in the back. So it forces you to push on them a little bit more to get the cut going. And I don't like them. Just notified, carpet and insulation should be here in the middle of next week. Yeah. Home repairs, they're so much fun. Got to go out and try to mow some of the backyard. Yeah, I got to do that too. In fact, mine's getting to the point it's almost not mowing. It's swathing now. It's up there a little bit. Will he do it? And Betty don't. I love that name, man. You putting that big block in lower and back of the front axle. Actually, I'm bringing it up a little. I got to get it up to the exhaust is right up here on this. Well, once this is gone, my exhaust plane has got to be up here. With the stock location, all I can run on it is the stock manifolds. So to be able to put headers on it, I got to get it up and exactly what you're saying there, as far back as I can possibly get it. In fact, I want that tunnel ram to sit right about here. Because it's a Ford, I can get it all the way back. The distributor's up here. So I'm going to take advantage of that and stick it as far back as I possibly can. Oh, no, not what you poured in. I learned a long time ago that for every inch you can move an engine back, you take about 100 pounds off the front end. That's a loose, general numbers, but it works out to pretty close to that. And it takes all that weight and sticks it right back to the rear end where it needs to be. On that 39 we did, that 39 Chevy, I moved that one back, well, 4.5 inches, almost 5 inches. I moved that engine back. I was trying to make room for the radiator. I was trying to get a electric fan behind the radiator, but in those things, it's so tight in there, we still had to put the radiator up front. But long story short on that, I stuck that engine so far back behind the rear axle that when it sat down, the suspension stayed all the way at the top. So we had to go and cut the springs. I set it so far back, but it took all the way to the car and pushed it to the rear tires. And there wasn't even enough weight up front to bring the suspension back to ride height. Just came in for a chill break from Bodywork. Oh, man. Good to see you, Danny. Floor should be done this weekend. Then interior can go back together. Wanted some sound and heat deadening, especially if you're going to drive them. Old Mopar Al, boy, he is made of iron somewheres, I know, because he is one tough guy to be able to drive that slag hammer. Because slag hammer ain't got nothing of that in it. They stripped it clear out, making a race car street freak out of it. I'll bet you the noise in that car was just unreal. We'll be running with the hood on this one. Nope, I cannot. It's against my religion to cut the hood on a 58 Ford. So I'm just going to leave the hood off. The 58 Ford hood was kind of a one-off, and it's got a hood scoop built right into it. And in my opinion, it is the best looking hood that Ford ever made. Well, the Thunderbirds kind of kept it going, but a Thunderbird is a Thunderbird, not a standard Ford. That it is, a hot rod religion. And what I'll do is I'll take that hood and the front filler piece, and I'll make them work on my 59 wagon. I've got that green 59 Country Squire wagon that I'm going to be building too. So all the parts left over from that are just going to transport over to that one. But I'll be running a trunk lid. So I probably won't make this one a tilt front end, because tilt front end without a hood, they're all kinds of wonky. So I'm just going to run it with just the fenders on it, just the outer fenders. I'll take the inner fenders out too. And then I got a friend of mine's got a set of big block Chevy Tri-5 fender well headers. And I'm working on a deal with him to get those. And I'm going to cut the header flange off of them and weld Ford flanges onto them. And I was looking at this Ford here. It's different, but it's very similar to Tri-5 Chevy. Yeah, somebody's trying to call me. I'll call him back. But anyway, I'll try to get them to work in there. And the steering box, we're going back and forth on. If I use this steering box, I might set it up as a cross steer. I don't know. And that's what I was doing this morning with cousin Mike. We went and looked over at his place. He's got a long throat steering box. I was looking at that. Maybe I can make that work to get it down far enough that my drag link will be more in plane with my center link, the tie rod on that. Danny boy, my religion is cars. Mine too, right here, and this is my church. Actually, this is my sanctuary. This is where I'm a lot like my dad in that ways. Ford also made the best hood scoops. Late 50s Ford fire trucks and other heavy duty models. Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. At bolt-on scoops which sell for decent money. Really? Yeah, that's kind of what Offenhauser kind of patterned theirs after, those bolt-on scoops that you can put up. Pontiac also used those scoops with the Super Duty. Yeah. Good old Pontiac. They were kind of the bastard child of a GM, but I don't know. As you can tell, I kind of got a soft spot for Pontiac because, well, I got a 1940 sitting right on the other side of the shop right over there. You see in my logos all the time. One of these days I'll get that one together. Pontiac also used those, yeah. Well, let's see, we've gone for about an hour here. And, well, that was my dad. He's probably calling and say, hey, we going out to that junkyard or what? And it's coming up on noon. That's about the time I figured I'd cut her off. I know I didn't get a whole lot done there, but you did. And I got a little metal hot, but I got my crotch even hotter with them sparks. But I sure appreciate y'all coming in on this impromptu little experimental live. We'll do some more of these, and I got more videos coming out of actually going into detail on some of this stuff I'm doing. But figured I'd give you guys a little heads up and spread a little cheer and a little hot rod. Yeah, it's hot out here. My brain is fried. Great to see y'all. Hope to see y'all at the No Name Nationals. And well, I'm moving my lives to Sunday nights now, or Sunday afternoons. So I'll get a thumbnail and the schedule up for my Sunday pickup live. And I hope to see y'all there. It's just before Uncle Tony goes live with his, and then we carry that on over to Ari. And there he is again. So I better let you all go. Thanks for stopping in. Get out there and get some metal hot. We'll catch you on the next one. Now, how do you shut this one off? There it is.